What must we do? I have already lowered taxes on everything and the Americans are still in protest. With everything but tea as taxable, I see no further clue to what is next, my king. We must send the troops to the New World. Bring me the best. Bring me the Howie brothers. Yes, my king, you have called upon us. This thing going on in the New World, there is no loyalty amongst the Americans anymore. What would you like us to do? Send a small fleet of your best men and also keep the water safe, as well as naval army, which suffice just well. It's time to show these Americans that they must not bite the hand that feeds them.
I have heard rumors of a group of German men that can help us.
Great! All is set then, Cornwallis. I leave you in charge of the necessary actions to gain order in the New World.
Bring me the German mercenaries.
Whoosh! Sir, I have assembled the men. Where to?
First we drink and take the women in New York, and then we fight.
Hell yeah!
What are we using to fight if we're always drinking?
Whoosh!
Meanwhile, back in England, the king is seeking deep advice and suffering through a royal disease. And I'm not talking about his wife, Princess Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz. The king was suffering from chemical deficiency. He finds the best way to win this battle is to gather the entire group of loyalists and have them join in battles. But little did he know that George Washington and Nathaniel Greene were already one step ahead of him.
We shall approve a small fund for Commander Washington to assemble a small group of men that will be known as the Continental Army.
Thank you, men, for approving this much-needed force. Ben, we need the French in this fight. Without a naval force, we are extremely vulnerable to the ships docking and bringing in more soldiers.
Certainly, sir. I'll go meet with the King of France right away.
Will you be going straight to meet the king, or will you spend your time flirting with the French women that are fascinated with your presence?
Well, I certainly wouldn't mind mixing business with pleasure. Ha 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 ha.
Little did Benjamin Franklin know he was about to walk in the famous wall of rejection. Ben arrives to meet with King Louis XVI.
What has brought you here, old friend?
Well, Your Highness, it seems the problem with Great Britain has become worse and we are in need of allies.
Well, I'm sorry, Ben. Nothing personal, but we're in no situation to go in war with Great Britain again.
Meanwhile, in America, the Battle of Eutaw Springs is taking place with the Americans, led by Nathaniel Greene, and the British, led by Alexander Stewart. A battle that was a loss for the Americans because of Greene undermining the British housing fort, which was made from stones.
I've got this. What would one say if we were to surprise the redcoats where they trick by fighting like Indians, and we can form a sort of barricade around the ports, and we can place men in New York, hold the loyalists along with Clinton there.
That's a brilliant idea. The French have joined.
Let's meet them in Yorktown, and we shall interfere with the Clintons' group of soldiers in New York and barricade Cornwallis's men in Yorktown. We shall have the element of surprise on our side. We march to Virginia. With a group of 9,000 men, we march.
Hey, why the men stopped here in Philadelphia?
They say they will not move from here till they get paid in advance for their enlistment.
What?
I said that the men will not move from here. Can you please remove your earphone?
What?
Men too further understand their demand.
Sir, certainly. As you said, the men want an advance in their pay. Granted, but I need your word that we will win.
Yes, we will. This is America.
Meanwhile, the British get word from a spy that shall not be named, cough cough, Benedict Arnold, that the Americans are planning a surprise attack on the British, soon after the Americans won the Battle of Chesapeake. General Clinton saw fit to move on a small fleet of loyalists to Yorktown, but was kept in defending New York.
Soon after landing, we marched to Williamsburg, where we joined General Lafayette. And very soon after, our whole army arrived, we prepared to move down and pay our old acquaintance, the British, at Yorktown a visit. I doubt not, but their wish was not to have many of us come at once, as their accommodations were rather scanty. They thought the fewer the better cheer. We thought the more the merrier. We had come a long way to see them and were unwilling to put off with excuses. We thought the present time quite as convenient, at least for us, as any future time could be, and we accordingly persisted, hoping that, as they pretended to be very courtly people, they would have the politeness to come out and meet us, which would greatly shorten the time to be spent in the visit, and saving themselves and us much labor and trouble. But they were too impolite at this time to do so.
Hello, can you hear me now? Lafayette, I need you to hold down Yorktown. We will be arriving soon. Begin the attack and stay strong. Certainly, sir. We have things under control. When will you be arriving? We will be arriving in 3 days. 3 days later, George Washington arrives at Yorktown. How are we holding up? Good, sir. They seem to be struggling setting up their forces, and they can't break into our barricades. We must penetrate their forces. We will defeat them. This land is your land, men, and this land is my land. Till the end, we fight. We shall take them on! I am surprised of these men that fight with no uniforms and so much courage that comes from them. With such harsh conditions, they continue to fight, and their spirits are high. I'm feeling good vibes, man. Let's take them on. We have our French Alliance Navy placed in the high ports and in the New York. We will fight till the end. I surrender! After a long-awaited victory, the Americans came out ahead. Through a stressing battle, they managed to pull forward and tore through the British Army. Thus, our independence was gained. The war is over! We have conquered the British! I cannot attend the ceremony nor meet with Washington, because I'm sick. But what do you mean? You look fine. You just fought yesterday. You must attend. I refuse to attend! Hello, Washington. I'm General Charles, here to present you this sword, which means our surrender.
I refuse to accept this sword. I believe Benjamin Lincoln deserves to receive this sword.
Okay, where is Benjamin Lincoln?
He stands next to me. Hello, I'm Benjamin Lincoln. Thank you, men. I believe I do deserve this sword of surrender.
May be gone. Although Cornwallis did not meet with Washington nor attend the surrender ceremony, Brig General Charles O'Hara attended and presented the sword of surrender to Washington, who refused to accept it and asked his second-in-command, Benjamin Lincoln, to be present with it due to the humiliation he went through during the Battle of Charleston.
Starring Clinton, Cornwallis, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Lincoln, King Louis the 16th, Joseph Plum Martin, Congress, Nathaniel Greene, Charles O'Hara, George Grenville, the Howe brothers.